Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the last this week of 2025. Holy banana bread. We're here. The last one. This is going to be a special one. So normally in the last couple of years, I've done a New Year's Eve stream, and this year I'm not doing it, but that's typically where I normally drop my results for. Let's grade how my predictions did the previous year. So we're going to do that today. So we have 10 predictions I made a year ago. If you go back to January, the video is there if you want to watch it. But I've got them all here today. We're gonna mark them together. So the way this will work is we've got 10 predictions, and we'll mark each one out of 1 to 10. So 10 means I nailed it completely. Actually, sorry, 0 to 10. We have to have that 0 in there, because if I absolutely bombed a prediction, it deserves to be called out. Now, I was wrong about one thing. I will tell you guys this right now. In talking about this, I had not looked at these predictions in a long time, so I forgot what I predicted. And I thought I made a prediction that I didn't make, a prediction that would have been wrong. So we'll get to that. We're going to get to that. So we got all of that coming up, and of course, all of the normal stuff that we do. I will answer your questions, and I threw a question there in the little pinned thing. Is it a pinned comment? Is that what we would call it? I don't know what we'll call it. The little pinned thing at the top of the chat. I wanted to know what your biggest surprises are. Surprise or surprises for 2025. So we're going to look at all of these as well as we go. Now, before we jump into the predictions, I want to jump into the chat. I want to see you guys. All right. We will start off with, of course, Jonathan. So Jonathan is in here. Did you predict I would be late? I did not make that prediction, but nonetheless, that's your catchphrase. I would be disappointed. Actually, anytime I start a stream, if I don't have that comment from Jonathan asking me if he's late, I'm slightly disappointed. Brian says, I'm 97 minutes early and you beat me. Yeah, look at the time. Let's look at the timestamp. So the stream starts at 4 o'clock, and Jonathan made this at 2, a little after 2, 2:12. We got a good afternoon from Brian. And Jonathan says, that's just how the banana bread crumbles. Yep. Banana bread. Good banana bread does crumble a little bit. Kelly. Geez, I thought a half an hour early would be just a countdown. The chat is already on the go. Sometimes, we're still at 3:30. I'm a half an hour behind. When I started the chat, a half an hour behind. So what can I say? Claude in the house. Let's see. Hello. Am I weird to have found these last 4.5 days very long? No, not really. I mean, the holidays can drag out a little bit. And I know, especially if you want to do some shopping, oh boy, those days where everything is closed can really feel like a long day for sure. Stan is in the house with a good afternoon. Kelly says, it's a stretch, Claude, just eating junk and having scotch at random times of the day. Okay. I hope it's good scotch. Claude says, oh, can't see my comment now. Wonder why. And I think Claude is saying, I love that to the scotch. So we're almost caught up to the show, guys. This is the conversation that happened before the show even began. So Brian says, I was hoping to have the holidays off, but we had a customer at the last minute decide they wanted a 6-day project done in their plant over the holidays. Yeah, sometimes that happens. And They say the customer is always right. No, that's not true. The customer is always paying, so that's the part that's right. Let's be honest. All right. Kelly says, notable on YouTube this week, videos concerning silver investing that imply the bank's forced sales of options and other videos that predict 100 USD silver and also $50 USD silver. So yeah, there's been a lot of people predicting some really big movement on silver. I'm bullish on silver. I don't think I'm that bullish. I I look at it this way. Anytime somebody predicts a really, really incredible jump in any commodity, whether it be silver, gold, Bitcoin, um, you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. Always ask yourself what's in it for them, and does it make sense? Because a lot of times it doesn't. A lot of times it doesn't make sense. So yeah, is silver going to go up in 2026? Yep. Is it gonna be a pretty good thing to invest in? Yes, it is. Is it going to hit crazy evaluations? Probably not. Probably not. All right. Brian says, we are closing our shop at the end of March, so I guess it's take the money while you can. That's a good way to look at it, for sure. Kelly says, Claude, go to your settings wheel and switch from top comments to all comments. All right. And let's see here. I even worked today painting a hydraulic pump stand I had to fabricate. Fun. And let's see here. Are you going to retire when you close your shop? Kelly wants to know. And Brian's like, nope. 66, too early to retire. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. There's those Freedom 55 people out there that want to retire at 55. Well, that's probably too early. Brian says, I will work part-time at a few things. I've already registered a new company I'll use at the beginning of April. And let's see, I'm a partner in a structural steel fabrication company now. We had 8 people 6 years ago, and now it's just my partner and I. Too hard to carry 8K overhead every month and make money. Fair enough, absolutely. Well, hopefully it does well. I have a feeling it will. Brian says, I'll do okay on my own. I still have a ways to go until I have enough saved for retirement. All right, fair enough. All right. And Cowboy is in the house. I think I've almost caught up to the show. Let's see. Kelly says, my biggest surprise was just getting started. You make this information much more accessible, Candace. Oh, well, thank you. Yes, you know what? And it's not just investing. Starting anything brand new, that first step is always the biggest. It's always the biggest step. I mean, it takes, it usually takes a while. It takes a while to get into something new, and there's always a learning curve. So I'm just glad to be a part of that. I'm glad to be a part for sure. Let's see. Oh, and whoever recommended IVN, I passed it along to my mom, and she's up 18% in just a few months. She's a happy camper. So yes, IVN had a pretty good back half of the year, but 2026 could actually be a pretty good year for them as well, especially if we see that pump in copper that I'm expecting. So that's going to be pretty good. That's going to be pretty good for IVN. And you'll learn more about that in, we got a copper video coming out. The last video of the month is all about copper, as voted on by the channel members. So that is absolutely good. Brian says, biggest surprise to me was the number of covered call ETFs that were issued in Canada. That's going to be a trend that's going to continue into 2026. So one of the big things is a lot of Canadians are starting to get much more interested in ETFs, more than ever before. So we are seeing record amounts of ETFs in portfolios compared to any time in history. That is going to continue. Now, a big part of that is that it makes a lot of sense when you're kind of worried about the economy, when you're kind of worried about volatility, when you're kind of worried about where things are just going in general, because it's a lot easier with that diversification of an ETF to be safer, to have a much safer investing environment than you would have by holding single stocks. So a lot of people are sort of saying, okay, let's move away from single stocks. Now, I want to point one thing out. And this is something that sometimes people are thinking, oh my God, companies are going to be in trouble. If everybody's moving to ETFs, they're selling all their company stocks. What are the companies going to do? Well, they're not in trouble because all of those ETFs are buying those companies. As we get new ETFs out, they're buying more of the companies that people are selling who are moving into the ETF. So it all works out. It all works out in the end. And we could have, even if, let's say, nobody invested in regular stocks anymore, it was all 100% ETFs, and that's never going to happen. But let's just say it was, they'd still be fine. They'd still be fine. There'd be the same number of stocks that are being bought by by institutions, by those companies, by Harvest and Hamilton and 9 Point and Evolve and all of them. It'll still be the same. All right. Yes, and Scratch got a channel membership. Congrats, Scratch. Yeah, I like that one. I love it when a gifted membership goes to somebody who I see all the time. It's like, oh, fantastic. But at the same time, you know what? If it's going to a lurker who's here all the time, it's just as good. But it is fun to see a familiar name on a gifted membership for sure. More congrats to Scratch. Brian says, we are getting freezing rain just northwest of Toronto. Cars are covered and trees have a couple millimeters of ice on them. Oh boy. Yeah, we're getting that freezing rain tonight. So it's supposed to start, I believe, about 9 p.m. here in Ottawa. So it is coming. It is coming, and oh boy, I just noticed something. I noticed something. Wealthsimple has come in with a gifted membership. So it is time to break out the goats. Now, I will tell you guys, the Christmas goat is now retired. It's now retired because, well, Christmas is past. So I do have to design a new funny goat. I don't have it yet. But I'll try. Well, maybe I can. I'll try to have it for tomorrow. For the market close. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. All right. But thank you, Wealthsimple. And who won that one? Mario. Mario won. I had to take a look over on the side monitor. For some reason, it does not show me in the interface over here who won. So what can I say? All right. Kelly says, I still kind of wonder if the new cover call ETFs are attracting new investment money, or if it's just being spread out from other funds. Does their existence reduce direct investment in stocks? I kind of just answered that. But yeah, just to reiterate it, I don't think it's new investment money per se. There might be some new investment money coming in. But I think a lot of it in this case is you have people selling your stocks and then just moving that into covered calls. And then, of course, those covered calls, like I said, those management companies are buying those stocks. So there's no real net loss of money or gain of money from this process, but there's probably still new people coming into investing all the time. Well, for example, I know this girl by the name of Kelly, who just started investing this year. That's new money coming into the investment world. New money in Scotch. We'll just leave it at that. Brian says, it's taking most of my dividend and OAS money for sure. Cowboy, we are minus 20 now, minus 30 overnight, and plus 1 Monday. I think a few colds will be happening. Yes. Plus 1 Monday. Let me guess. Chinook? Does anybody else think Chinook? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, so is Brian. Oh, the joys of the Chinook wins, Cowboy. All right. And let's see. Cowboy says, I will be plowing the driveway again. The never-ending story in winter. Mario says, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm a winner. Thank you so much. Oh, we got Max in the house with a hello, everyone. Rob in here with hi, y'all. Scott says, good afternoon and a continuing happy holidays. Bismarcky in the house. Happy Sunday. Little freezing rain in the GTA. Hopefully no power outages. I'm hoping that too. So guys, if by some chance, Ottawa is out of power, if we're out of power tomorrow and we end up losing the market close, don't worry, it'll just get pushed to Tuesday. Because, we're not opening up the Financial Express until tomorrow for Tuesday's show. So we would just push it ahead. But like I said, most of this freezing rain is happening overnight. So any power outages will probably be resolved by mid-morning. So I'm not super concerned. I'm not really worried. But I thought I'd throw that out there anyway. Scott says Sagi in Saga. Progressive investing. Happy Sunday from Regina. Well, happy Sunday to you as well. And a good afternoon to Paul. Lisa says, I'm here now, but we'll have to go soon. Rob says, I'm aiming at Freedom 35. Just like the Trailer Park Boys. All right, why not? And of course, we got Mary in the house with a hello all. Guys, Mary is our official captain of the like button. So if you have not yet hit that button, do it now. Send a message out to the algorithm that we're having a good time here. And let's bring some more folks in. I'm going to have a quick sip of coffee. And then before we get to the next comment, I think we should take a look at something. Let's, oh boy, that is good. That is good. No, I don't need that side panel. I don't need the side panel. As I said, guys, every year I make predictions. I like to make predictions for the coming year. And then we get to see if I am right. So, we made them for last year. Last year we made them for 2025. Amazingly enough, my hit rate has been about 80%, 75 to 80%, I think, most years. So as I said, we're going to grade this together. We're going to grade this as we move forward. Now, all right, let's, they come in categories. And I just realized my head is, all right, give me a second here. Let's see. I'm just trying to think how I can get my head completely out of the way of this. No, we'll just go, if we go above my head, we're fine. All right, we're going to come up here with the first, oh, yeah, I only want to go up this high. Okay, my head is in the way. I should have figured that out ahead of time. But let's see here. Let me see if I can move my head. Ooh. Maybe I can put my head up in the middle. Yeah, there we go. Let's do that. All right, now. No. Just update the layout. That should have moved my head up to the middle, so it should be out of the way here in a moment. There we go. That's what we want. We just want me out of the way. So the first, we have 10 categories. So the first was just an overall what the market's gonna look like. So here is the prediction. I broke it down into point form. So basically, mild uncertainty in January, post-Donald Trump inauguration effect. Market stabilizes as year progresses. I think we kind of saw that. Green late spring, early into summer. A bit of a summer lull. And a strong winter fall finish led by tech and AI. Okay. This one's really subjective. This one is really, really subjective. We kind of, see, we did have the strong, there we go. I accidentally moved it. We did have that strong winter finish. I'm going to pull up a marker here. Let's go with red. We'll go with red. This will be our thing. All right. So yeah, we did have that strong winter finish, but it really wasn't led by tech and AI. Well, it was, but at the same time, tech and AI kind of, well, at the very end, yes, a little bit. Gosh, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. Let me tell you that. Yeah, I think overall we did see a lot. Well, yeah, there was definitely some uncertainty with Trump's inauguration, with the tariffs, all of that fun stuff. So yeah, this is a hard one, guys. I don't know what to give this. Um, I'm inclined. I'm inclined. I'm inclined to give it a 5 out of 10 because it just doesn't feel like a hit, but it's not a miss. I feel it's just very, very, very subjective. So, oh boy, definitely a harder one to hit, I think for sure. All right, guys, why don't you guys think about it? Uh, throw in what you guys think number wise, because I want to kind of get a feel for the chat, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure this one out. We'll determine what this one looks like. This is probably the only one in this list that is hard to really throw a number on. But you know, and I tend to be pretty critical on myself for sure. All right, while we're thinking this over, let me get through a few more comments here. We've got Sky in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. Bismarcky, is there a New Year's goat? Oh, yeah, that was the one we mentioned. I'll see if I can make that. I'll try to get that one made for the last few market closes, because that would be a good one. Lisa says, I retired at 53, but fortunate to have a DB pension with a bridge benefit. Best thing ever getting out of the rat race. Yeah, it's always nice to get out of the rat race for sure. Bismarcky, I think lots of people are selling bank mutual funds and going self-directed. All right, and Jan says, highlight of the year was Candace laughing at the Christmas goat. I know, and us teasing Candace about laughing at the Christmas goat. Oh, I do love that. All right, guys, it's retired, but one last time. Here we go. Oh, God, I love that Christmas goat. All right, there we go. But it is retired. It is retired, so. Oh, boy. Scott says, predictions from Nostro Candace. There we go, Nostro. Let's see, I'm progressing to vermouth or rum, not sure. Always enjoy your lives. Floating Heads, wasn't that a band? It sounds like it could have been. Rumor has it. Let's see. Any thoughts on XMA for 2026? Let's actually take a look here. Let's pull them up. XMA. So, of course, XMA, iShares Capped Materials Index. So, if you guys watched my recent video where I was reviewing the sectors, I did call this one out as one to watch in 2025. And for good reason. This is what it did. It went from $20.75 to $43.04. Well, my thesis on this one has not changed, guys. I'll tell you this right now. So will XMA have a strong 2026? You bet. I think this is going to be another one to watch in 2026. I think they're going to continue. So I like it. I like it a lot. All right, now I caught up and I'm seeing some numbers here. So Paul is saying 6. Brian is saying 5 or 6. Let's see. So Paul says 6. Brian says 5, 6. Bismarcky 6, 7. Progressive Investing saying 7. Let's see. State of the Market needs an 8 out of 10. Had a strong fall winter led by AI, 100% correct. The rest were right. Only the lull happened sooner due to tariffs. Okay, and Bill is saying 8. All right, and Patricia says hi. All right. So let's see here. I'm thinking, all right, you know what? Let's go with an average of all of that. How about, actually let's we'll do that, there we go. Let's do it this way. Let's do 6.5. All right, I think 6.5, that's like kind of an average in there. All right, so 6.5 on the state of the market. Oh boy. Up next is my recession prediction. This is the one I got wrong. In a different way. I'm pointing this. I thought I called a recession in this video, and I was saying it. The last few weeks, I was like, I'm going to do terrible in this because I think I called a recession. It turns out I didn't. All right, let's take a look. So we got both Canada and the US. So for Canada, I said Canada avoids recession despite a weak first half. Political change removes uncertainty. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. The US, no recession, economy remains strong. Some volatility shockwaves from the new US government. Once again, that is exactly what happened. So, in terms, you know what? I give this one a 10. I give it a 10, but well, let's go with the average. We're going to go with the average, of course. So you guys tell me what you think about this recession thing. Wow, I really thought I called a recession. I think I was thinking a lot about it, but yeah, I'd say that's dead on. I think we're looking at a 10 on that one. All right, Cowboy says I don't miss the work world. Yeah, I can understand that. Biggest surprise was ex-USA performing as well as it did. Wondering if 2026 will be more of the same. Yeah, I am thinking that 2026 is going to be a pretty strong year. I think the TSX might even continue into 2026. Like the TSX has absolutely beat the US market this year. So I think we're going to see a lot of the same. All right, Paul says 0. Jeez, Paul. Paul's like my toughest critic. My toughest critic. All right, Bill says 10. Rory says hi. Scott says 10. Dave says 9. 9 because you really believe the US numbers. Okay, fair enough. All right, couple 9s, a couple 10. All right, so that, you know what? That makes it a 9.5. Let's go. We'll do that. 9.5. Here we go. All right, 9.5 for recession. I got the section wrong. 10. Oh, okay. There we go, Paul. I was like, what's with that 0? I didn't put that in the calculation because I thought that you might have got it wrong. I wanted to hold off. But all right. So yeah, we'll go with a 9.5. We'll go with a 9.5. I'm okay with that. All right. Now this, guys, this one is really interesting. Rate cuts. Here are my predictions. So for Canada, I predicted 4 cuts in total, 25 basis points each. We got 4 cuts, 25 basis points each. Now, I predicted January. I predicted a cut in January, a cut in March, then a pause until July, a cut in July, cut in October. Oh, this is where I made an error. We did have a cut in January. We did have a cut in March, but that pause lasted until September. So that one is off. That one is off. Now for the US, I said pause early, and they did. And I said 2 cuts. I was thinking spring and the fall, but they had 3 cuts, September, October, and December. So I was a little off on the US, but the Canada one, I was just like, wow, that is really, really close. So based on this one here, oh boy, I would give this one a 6. I would give this one a 6 just because the Canada one is almost uncanny. The Canada one is almost uncanny. So I would say 6. We're of course going to see what you guys say. We're going to go with whatever you guys say because you guys are the audience. You guys are the judges. I just make the predictions. All right, let's see. If you look at the broad market, it's 10, but our steel, aluminum, and lumber industries, I say 8. Yeah, no, fair enough. Obviously, those any basically sector specific that would being intact by tariffs, they suffered big time. Vineet is in the house with a hi, everyone. Hello, Vineet. Good to see you. I thought you might pop in after, I said hi to you over there on Facebook. Remove the chat. Covers content. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry. Um, Rory says Bank of Canada running with scissors. All right, so Paul said rate cuts 8.5. Scott said 7. Sky says 7. Brian says 8. Dave says 9. Progressive says 7. Rory says 7.5. You know what? It's looking, there's a lot of 7s, a lot of 8s. You know what? Yeah, let's do the 7.5. Let's do, all right, here we go. 7.5. There we go. We'll lock it in. Whew. We've only gotten through 3 so far, guys. 3. Up next is inflation. Inflation. All right. So what did I say about inflation? All right, let's take a look here. All right. So Canada mostly contained near the 2% target. I would say that is exactly what happened. Minor bumps, but no reacceleration. All right. Yeah, absolutely. US, stickier, but trends down, aligned with targets by year end. I would say the US still has a little bit further to go. I don't think they're fully at their target. But Canada, yeah, we've been hanging out, you know, pretty close to 2% for most of the year. So, oh, excuse me. I kind of like this one. I'm going to give this one, I would give this one a 9. But, as always, it's up to you guys to determine how I did. So let's roll those numbers in. I see Paul says inflation 9. Brian says 7.5. Okay. We're getting some numbers here, so that you know. Sky says 8.5. Rory says 8. It's starting to look. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Max says 8. It might be inflate. All right. Progressive investing says 9. So far, 8 looks to be the middle of the road here, guys. Callie Marat says 8. Tough to judge the U.S. because they lied about the numbers, so I can't factor in the U.S. and say 10. Fair enough. Dave says 9. All right, you know what, guys? Let's do an 8. Let's do an 8. I think 8 is highly fair. Highly fair. All right. Oh boy, gonna have some more coffee. This is fun. I almost wish I had year-end predictions every week now. All right, number 5. Oh boy. It's my crypto predictions for well, not even crypto. It's more Bitcoin than anything else. But what is happening with Bitcoin in 2025? So here is what I said. All right, Bitcoin breaks all-time high in late January, and it did. It did break the 60,000. Peaks around 120 to 130,000 in the spring. I think it was a little later than the spring that it broke that 120. And what did it get up to? About 126. So yeah, but still really close. A pullback in the second half. A pullback. Guys, have we seen a pullback in Bitcoin lately? And I called it a mild crypto winter. Revisits that 80K mark. Not fully down to 80K, but 85. We did get down to 85. This one, I looked at this one and I was just like, this is eerily close to what happened. I would give it a 9. I would give it a 9, but obviously, guys, it's gotta be what you guys think. But I looked at this one and I was just like, holy banana bread. Did I script the year or something? All right, let's see. What are you guys saying here? Student John says the more prediction from you, Candace, the better. Scott says pull back and laughed. All right, so Scott's saying 8.5. Calamarad saying 9.5. Progressive 10. A big pullback. Yep. 9.5 from Brian, 9 from Sky, 9 from Max. Rory says 10. Dave says 9.5. Crypto crash October 10th and sideways since November 22nd, so a 9. Yeah, I think that 9 might hold, guys. I think the 9, you know, or it might be a 9.5. But let's leave the 9. I think the 9 is where we're looking at. Oh boy. Oh boy. The next one, the mortgage crisis. So obviously, one of the big concerns going into 2026 was all of those pandemic low rates and how it was going to impact the banks. Did the banks put enough money aside? Loan loss provisioning. Was this going to pull the banks down? That was kind of some of the big concerns coming into this year. And what did I have to say? I said there would be mortgage stress continuing into 2025 for sure. There was. Um, let's see here. Record foreclosure rates. They were high. They were high. I don't know if they hit record, but they were definitely high. Banks were prepared via loan loss provisions, and I basically affirmed that banks would perform better than feared. So, banks did. Whether we hit record foreclosure rates, I think we did in some cases, but I find that kind of vague. So, one of the things I'm looking at this one, and I feel that I was a bit too vague on this one. So, I'm going to deduct points for vagueness. I would say I would say 8. I would say 8, just based on the fact that ah, I'm like I'm like, come on, guys, come on. How can I be that vague? I was too vague on this one. I think this one. I think I have to be penalized. I need to be penalized on this one. So I am saying 8. I'm saying 8, guys. If you think it should be lower, let's go lower. I will not. I will certainly not be upset. All right. Let's see. Scott says crisis. What crisis? I'm a Supertramp fan. Supertramp. Love Supertramp. Rory says, let Mr. Bean run the HOC. that would be interesting. Brian, that joke was the crime of the century. 2 weeks ago, my mortgage early renewal offer for 5 years was 4.25%. Now 4.39% from banking app 7. All right, so okay, we're getting some numbers here. 7.5 from Max, 8 from Sky, 7 from Progressive. All right, so it looks like we're coming down a little bit here. I'll just give you guys a couple more. Crisis, Crisis 9, Crisis 9 on Alpha Centauri. It feels like that would be like a B movie of some sort. But hey, all right, we got a 9. Guys, if you got any more numbers, throw it in. Right now, I'm kind of looking at these numbers. We're looking at about a 7.5. All right, well, I could do that. I can do a 7.5 on this one. All right, here we go. 7.5, which is exactly what Scott Evil has predicted. We're almost through, guys. All right, number 7. Number 7, best sectors. Oh boy. All right, this is where the rails leave the track. This is where the real estate and utilities. Oh boy. Let's see. They outperform, benefit directly from rate cuts. That is the logic that should have happened, but that's not what happened. This is a miss, a big miss, absolutely. So real estate totally crapped the bed, but utilities did outperform. This is a funny thing with utilities, is if you look, let me show you something. If we look at something like Fortis, here's a big utility company. All right, let's pull up Fortis. And if we look at Fortis here for the year, that's outperforming 60 to 70, not bad. So yeah, I think that utilities met the grade, but real estate, no. So the best you can do, in my opinion, the best I can do on this one is 5. So let's get back to it. So yeah, let's finish the rest of it. So yeah, benefit directly from rate cuts, and we didn't see that, at least for real estate. REITs rebound strongly. No, they did not. Tech lags early, dominates later as AI monetization becomes clear. That should have happened, but I would say AI monetization, it's still a little iffy. People are still a little iffy, so I'm going to give that one a little bit of an X. Quantum computing hype grows. It is in the background, but it's not mainstream growing. So definitely, yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna give this. I think this one's worth a 4. Because come on, guys, this is a miss. This is a miss. This is not good. Let's go with 4. I'm going with 4. I will let you guys, of course, drop in, but I'm going to be critical on this one. I'm going to be critical on this one. Let's see. Progressive Investing says 6. Scott says 6. Paul says 3. Sorry. Yeah, Paul says 3. Sky says 4. Max says 4. 4 is kind of looking like the average right now. Brian says 4. All right, all right. I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm thinking that. I think you guys are kind of agreeing with the 4 on this one. All right, there had to be a miss. Could I absolutely mess up on the worst sectors? So, what were the worst sectors? What was I predicting to be the worst sectors? Well, energy is one. Energy struggles early due to supply surplus, increased U.S. production. I was wrong about the Ukraine war ending, though. That didn't happen. Possible energy rebound in the fall. We kind of got a little bit of a rebound. Then I also called on telecommunications. Continues to lag, so 5G weighs on growth. So telecommunications, yeah, they were absolutely in the pooper. Energy did struggle. So the only thing is that the only really thing wrong in here was the Ukraine war ending. I got to take a point off for that. That's where I should just don't open your mouth about something that specific. But yeah, I'll call this a 9. Obviously, though, guys, you have the final say. I'm going with your average. Paul's got a 9.5. Scott's got an 8. Keep those numbers coming. Keep them coming. Max has an 8. I'm having coffee while I watch these numbers roll in. It's like the Olympics, and you're all holding up them white signs. So we got Sky with 8.5. Cowboy still buying TELUS, waited out. Brian 8.5. Progressive says 8. All right, so we got a lot of 8s, a lot of 8.5s, some 9s. All right, you know what? Let's go with 8.5 on this one. Let's just take it down to the 8.5. Here we go. All right, now our next one. This one is interesting, dividend cuts. So I decided, should I predict a dividend cut? I predicted a dividend cut. So here we go. So I said a few dividend cuts overall, one major cut expected. BCE, cut likely before the end of summer. Painful, but ultimately a healthy move. Guys, what can I say? That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Rory says 11. Bonus marks, yeah. Rory says 10. Paul saying 10. Yeah, Allied Properties had a dividend cut as well. Camerot 12.5. A 10. All right, I think, seeing these 10s, I think this is our first 10. Uh-oh. I did not when I was putting this together, I called the next sector dividend cuts as well. Let me just fix that. This is basically, I call this one black sheep, but it's basically just, I take some weird prediction. This one we are not expected to do well on, guys, because this is just me picking something randomly out of the blue, seeing if it happens. But let's take a look at our final one. All right, so basically, oh boy, you can see there's things wrong in here. So, okay, rapid AI capability growth. All right, well, we did see, let me just get back. Well, where's my pen? Whoops, get my pen back. We did see that. So, yeah, that part did happen. We did have, hello, pen. There we go, pen, give me pen. We did have that. Yeah, we did have a little bit of that. Job displacement accelerates. Yeah, there were still a good amount of jobs in there as well. Now, this is the interest. This is kind of the part where I was thinking is that universal basic income would be something that would become more front and center. Not really. I mean, it was still out there, but nobody really talked too much about it. Well, yeah, no policy passed. Pierre Poilievre open to discussion? No. Pierre Poilievre became irrelevant in 2025. So that's a huge miss just based on that, on the fact that that's me predicting Poilievre winning the election, and that was absolutely a big wrong, and obviously that puts this as wrong as well. So for the black sheep, guys, it's not designed to really give me any serious marks. I'll give it a 3. One, it's once again too vague, and it's not really a black sheep. So I would say 3. I will say 3 on that one, and we'll let you guys decide what you guys think. Let's see here. Let's see. Student John said trouble with BCE is that it pays quarterly, the same months as AQN. A 1-2 punch. Ouch. Yikes. Yeah, absolutely. 2026. When will we get our first orange clown alert? Ooh. Well, I have to actually pull that video together. That's coming up pretty soon, actually. Let's see here. A New Year's Eve speech possibility. I wouldn't put it past him. 2 a.m. tweet for sure. Let's see. 5, 4, 4, 4. I give you a 5 as you got 50%. All right, you guys, you know what? You guys are going at the 4s. Let's just go with a 4. All right. Let's add up the final score here. Let's add up the final score. Oh, you know what? Get easier to add up the final score if we just make it smaller. All right. 6.5. There we go. So that's what? 16. Why did I even bring in the points? All right, 16, what's that? 23.5, 23.5, what's that? 31.5. So I think right here we're at about 40.5 at this point. All right, there we go. Yeah, we'll just do it this way. It makes it easier. 48, 52. All right. 60.5. I like it. 60.5. There you go. 70.5. And final mark, 74.5. I can live with that. I told you I normally get anywhere from 75 to 80. So yeah, I like it. It works. It works. I suppose. Yeah. There we go. Yep. So 74.5. Let's just put that in big numbers. 74.5% accuracy on 2025. I am fantastic. I'm happy with that. I'm very, very happy with that. I am going to be, so the way the videos are coming up, guys, so the next video is, of course, the channel member video. So that's the copper one. The copper one just won. Like last night when I went to bed, it was still tied. So when I woke up this morning, it was just ahead a little bit. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Then we got the 0 to 100K for the first video of 2025. Actually, you know what? Let's reverse it. Let's move the 0 to 100 challenge to the second video. I want to do the prediction video right away. So yeah, we'll do the 2026 prediction video. I will do, and this is what I do every year, so I use the same categories. Well, dividend cuts is kind of that, yeah, we'll still go with dividend cuts, but we'll use the same categories, and we'll zip through, and I will come up with those here for you guys right away. And then next year, next year, we will be looking at these again. Whew, there we go. Good. I kind of wanted to get these out of the way because anybody who's like watching the replay just for the prediction stuff, they only have to watch the first hour. Then they've got all of that. So those are them. Those are them, guys. All right. Now I can start bringing your stuff back up on the screen. So what can I say? Any tax harvesting available, cowboy? Let's see, or tax loss harvesting, right? The second will be a sell day in my non-registered to load up on my TFSA. Yeah, so of course, as you guys know, we get our new space on the 1st of January. So that's always a good thing. Always a good thing for sure. I like that. I like that for sure. So, whew, all right. I feel like I should take a breath here now that we're finally through that. Scott says, I predict I will write 2025 on at least one thing in 2026. Only one? Um, that's the hardest thing. I find that like when the year changes, it's like probably January. It takes me to the end of January. But mind you, I almost never have to write other than I put the date on the thumbnails, but that there, once I just put the 2026 once, I'm good. I'm good. So I think I'll be fine, but nonetheless. Paul says stock price prediction for the top 10 S&P 500 for 2027. Well, that's a ways off. I am going to do, like I will do a couple of things. I'm going to do some predictions as well on, I like to pick out some stocks to watch. So I'll probably do that as well. Like, these are the companies to watch in 2025. And I'll probably do an ETF one as well. So I got a couple of them that I'll get done. Like, and they all have to, pretty much all have to get done as early as I can in January because, I don't want to be making 2025 predictions in February. So, let's see. Cowboy says, not going to TLH, just selling the winners, rebuying the TFSA. Cowboy, transfer winners in kind. Let's see, can't move between non-registered and TFSA. Yeah, exactly. And there are some banks that will do that for you, but they're still behind the scenes. They're still selling and rebuying it. So you're still creating a taxable event. You can't escape or you can't sidewind around the CRA. Unfortunately, that would be a really interesting. Bill says, let's see, picking the prices of the top 10 would be a good audience participation project. Record our answers, then rub our faces in it next year. I don't want to rub your faces in it, but maybe that's what we could, you know what? I mean, we could, all right, guys. So for next Sunday, I'll bring a list of some of the big possible movers and shakers in 2026, and let's, as a group, let's actually predict. Let's predict where we think that price is going. Maybe it's going up, maybe it's going down, but we'll make a prediction and then we can look at it. We can look at it again next year. That's actually not a bad idea, Bill. I'm not going to rub our faces in it because, guys, nobody can predict the market. We already know this. So we're liable to get a few of them right. We're liable to get a few of them wrong. We might get them horribly wrong, too. So, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And I am just, whoops, I tried. Just give me a second here. The chat was moving too fast. I'm just doing a quick screenshot of Bill here. So I will remember to do it. That's the big thing. All right. Let's see. Paul says, should be able to do that. I have transferred from non-registered to TFSA before. But keep in mind, you are still getting hit behind the scenes. And even, you may not even realize it. It shows up within your, the different T-slips that you get, but you are getting hit. Rory, watch MSTE, MSTR get delisted in 2026. Oh boy. Yeah. If we put MSTE on that list, we'll see what the price, what are they going to be worth in a year? Paul will be going $1. Yeah, that would be funny. That would be funny. Let's see. Eve says, good afternoon. Well, hello. Good to see you. How are you doing? Let's see. Bill says, ooh, not as a group. I don't do ETFs. That's right. Bill is very much a stock guy. He's a stock guy for sure. Prediction, will MSTR, MSTE recover by 2027? Oh, that is interesting. Elaine is in the house. Hey, I almost missed the live. Well, if you're coming in now and you missed the first hour, boy, it was a lot of fun. You'll want to rewatch that because we went over the predictions from last year, and we graded them together. I had a blast. That's probably the most fun I've had online in a while, so that was a lot of fun. Paul, will Tesla be 1,100 by 2027? So you're thinking by January 1st, 2027, because yeah, when you keep throwing 2027, I'm like, wait a minute, Paul, that's 2 years. But no, it's not. It's just a year. Will MSTE get a reverse split by 2027? Oh, interesting idea. Right, as far as I know, I don't think we're gonna see one, but yeah, I mean, we gotta see what Harvest is gonna do with that fund if strategy keeps on plunging. So what can I say? Brian says Elon will get back in politics and Tesla will be $200. I think. I don't think Elon's going to be as front and center, but I think you will see him getting in interfering in stuff. I don't think he can stop himself. Elaine says, oh, I'll rewatch for sure. Chad, Tesla talks too much, still no semis, no FSD, no robotics, blah, blah, blah. Got out of Tesla. Okay. Elon is a modern Bond villain, will use AI to control the world. Maybe. Chad, Baha with Mini-Me. All right. Heather is in the house. Hi, Heather. Looking forward to watching the replay. I also missed the first 30 minutes. Sadness, but definitely looking for a group prediction edition. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, guys. One of the things that I will... guys, we're not finished yet. I forgot about something. Heather. I normally encourage you guys to make predictions in the comments of that video. So, just give me a second here. I'm going to, let's pull this over. Let's see if you guys made any. I don't know if you made any predictions or not, but I've got it up here. Let's go back to, I think it was a regular video, actually. It was a regular video. We got to go all the way back to January. Boop, ba-doop, boop. All right, here we go. January. What does 2020? Here it is. Let's, actually, I want to open up the comments. All right, let's go to the comments on that video. And I want all comments. All right. Here we go. Here is some of the predictions that were made in these comments. I don't know if you guys can see them, but I'll read them to you. So Reggie says, my prediction for 2025 is that you will come to the Blossom event this year and meet lots of people, and your YouTube channel will take off because of it. That's not only my prediction, that is my hope. I did not make it to the Blossom event, so obviously my channel didn't take off. I'm sorry, Reggie. Oh, boy. Let's see. Why are REITs in a slump? That's not a prediction, Ian. Let's see here. We got something. Oh, Bill. There's Bill. We were just looking at Bill, but that's not a prediction. Let's see. Vic, hoping for a good dip. Yeah. All right. You did get that prediction, Vic. I guess that's not a prediction, but you got Liberation Day. So there was your good dip. Let's see. Peed off Canadian. Oh boy. With that change of government also comes a lot of love for our resource development sector, thankfully. So yeah, well, we did get a change. I mean, really, if you look at it now, going from a Trudeau government to a Carney government, it is a different, Carney does lean more right than Trudeau ever did. Trudeau was very left. So it is like a new government from that context. So anyway, and we do seem to have at least a little bit more aim towards resources, but I want to see even more of that in 2025. Um, all right, Guy is agreeing that that Bell will definitely cut the dividend. All right, perfect. Um, let's see here. All right, here, Robert. Robert made a prediction. My main prediction is that HPQ and to a lesser extent PYR takes off this year. It will be when they have a off-take agreement in place with Innovic and are producing silica using their disruptive manufacturing process. By take off, I mean triple in price. Well, let's find out. Let's find out. I do not know. All right, so we got, what do we got in here? Just give me a second here. HPQ. All right, has HPQ tripled in price? Let's take a gander here. All right. Well, it's a penny stock. It is a penny stock. I was like, I don't know what, I didn't know what this was. So let's just see here. I'm going to pull up the 1 year. They did not triple in price. They fell from 23 cents to 17 cents. That might be a miss. We'll take a look at PYR as well. Pyrogenesis. And we'll go to the 1 year. And they went from 59 cents to 32 cents. Yikes. All right. I'll pull this back over. Sorry, Robert. That one's not a hit. Not a hit. But it goes to demonstrate why I'm leery of penny stocks. Even when everything lines up and you think they're gonna do it, well, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the opposite happens. So penny stocks can be risky. We kind of just saw it there with Robert's prediction. All right, Get Rich says, I thought of oil and gas will do well under Trump in the U.S. and Pierre Poilievre here in Canada. The industry should benefit from their policies. In turn, the companies will make tons of money in profits, so increase. No, we didn't really see that. We saw a little bit in the last half of the year, but for the most part, not really. All right. Tima said, stumbled across this video. All right, and that's just asking me what my thoughts on something. Let's see. Frank Infante says, I don't believe the Bell dividend will be cut, but will instead hold current rate until the situation improves. Well, that didn't happen. Obviously, we got the cut as predicted. The same prediction was made about Enbridge, but didn't happen. I believe if there was going to be a dividend cut, it would have already happened. But it did happen. It did happen. All right. We'll leave Bills alone there. It's just a shot at Trudeau, and Trudeau's no longer around anymore. The music says, I predict we'll have 5 banks, 2 railways, 3 telecoms, 3 oil producers, and the economic productivity of a snail. Who's... Okay, well, I don't know how I can really get on that. PPO says, I predict I will get a gifted sub on Sunday. Okay. I don't know. Let's see here. Do we have anything else? Other than Ian says, I missed an opportunity to dress up like a fortune teller. Okay. Unfortunately, Ian, I just don't have a tickle trunk. So what can I say? All right. Anyway, those... And next year as well, guys, when I do this video, I will invite you to throw your predictions in the comments with the caveat that everybody may get a chance to look at them a year later and go, haha, yes, that one did it, or haha, yep, that one didn't do it. But predictions are predictions, guys. They're fun. They're fun. And sometimes it's kind of fun when you get them right. It can also be fun when you get them wrong. So, all right, let's go. Go back to big screen. So there we go. I almost forgot about those. All right. Camel Road says, the question about MSTE, how many reverse splits? Yeah, how many reverse splits indeed? All right. Boy, Chad saying good day all. I guess Chad is heading out. Enjoy the rest of your day, Chad. Paul, on the TSX, what is the minimum share price a stock needs to be? Oh, that's a really good question. I do not know. But let's ask. Let's ask Google. All right, let's just pull up the old Google here. Oops, I made it. Let's share the screen as it doing it. This is actually not a bad place to be in the middle up here. All right, Google. So minimum share price to be listed on the TSX. All right. So, okay, there's no, I think it has to do with, whoa, before I look at the answer, I think it might have to do more with your market cap to be, but yeah, there's no strict share price on the minimum, but companies need a significant market value, public float. So was it 4 million plus for the TSX? Yeah, so yeah, there we go. So you just need to have a good market cap. If you got the strong market cap, you're fine. And according to this, 4 million, I thought it was higher than that, but that does sound about in the ballpark of where it is. Let's see, Scott says, will Tesla separate out the cars from AI and robotics? I would almost wonder if Tesla cars will eventually just be phased out completely and they just shift completely to AI and robotics down the road. That's what I would kind of wonder. But yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see where that's going to go. But I think it's going to be a long time before we get there. MSTR, crybabies. Yeah. Let's see. Paul says companies risk delisting from the main TSX if their total market value drops below 3 million. Oh, there we go. Or public float value falls below 2 million for 30 days. Yeah, there we go. And keep in mind too, I mean, it means that you risk it. Doesn't mean it will automatically happen. I mean, you gotta, I would think, so let's just say, for example, if we went into a bear market, I would assume that they're probably going to be a little bit less stringent. I would think they would give you a little bit more leeway if you're one of those companies that sort of hugs that area. But I could be wrong on that, but I would think that. Chat, haha, have faith in MSTR, MSTY when BTC moonshots again. Let's see. Student, under $5, maybe if I grab a few MSTE units, I'll reverse the trend. Let's see. Will looking at more bi-monthly? Oh, I think we will. I think that's going to be a big trend in 2026. A lot of the newer funds, not all of them, but a lot. I think a lot of them will be coming out with some pretty aggressive cover call writing on them, and I think you'll see a lot more semi-monthly as well coming out. What would be interesting, though, is I would love to see an out-of-the-money covered call with semi-monthly. That would be also interesting. But at the same time, if you think about it, you kind of got a little slightly different market for an OTM covered call because you're getting a little bit of that growth component there. So a lot of times investors who favor some of the OTM funds, they're really not wanting money as much. Like, I don't want to say that. Well, they still want money, yes. But I mean, they're not like, I need all the money now and now. It's more, because there's more of a growth component in there. So I think there's a bit more patience when it comes to that. So we may not get to see that, but I'd like to see it. All right. Canoe pays in the middle of a month or so. That's why I like it. Yeah. Canoe usually, I think I usually get Canoe by about the 15th. Same circus, different clown. We went from Bozo to Pennywise. Oh, yes. Well, I would rather, I mean, in negotiations, I'd rather have Pennywise. It's like, give Canada what we want, or else, well, or else you'll discover why they float down there. Let's see. Mark says, I am looking at another speculative growth fund in copper, TKO. So Taseko Mines, it looks hopeful with a new deal. Let's take a look. Let me pull up. Whoops. Let's go here. TKO. What am I looking at? Oh, yes. Here we go. All of my thingies were... All right, Taseko Mines right here, 773. All right, I like that. It's not a penny mine, so that is here. We've already got this big jump here. So you were mentioning as well that they had a new deal. I wonder if this is kind of what I'm seeing here. But let's jump out to a year. Yeah, look at this. I mean, this is a stock that has doubled, more than doubled. So 2.85 up to 7.73. So yeah, copper. I'm very bullish on copper going forward, and I've talked about copper shortages until the cows have come home. But we are heading into a position where copper is going to be in high demand with lower supply, and that will drive the prices up. And a lot of times too, I mean, and this is an interesting thing. A lot of times people say, well, okay, but there's a lot of copper in the ground. Let's just open up another mine. Well, here's the thing. Realistically, to open up a brand new copper mine, 10 to 20 years. 10 to 20 years from planning to actually breaking ground. So it can take a long time. Now, I know in Canada, we're trying to get rid of a lot of that red tape. So hopefully we can get Canada down to that the 10-year mark. It still takes a long, long time. And also we got a lot of our copper mines are also aging. So when you have an older copper mine, basically you have to pull out a lot more material to get the same amount of copper. So it's kind of like you've gotten all the good stuff. Now you're scraping the bottom of the barrel type thing. And, all of that combining together, oh boy. Yeah, it's not the best situation for copper, but it's a great situation if you're investing in copper. All right, let's see here. Cowboy saying the supporting cast is still the same, except for a few new idiot dancing chickens. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's stop making fun of liberals. Let's jump ahead here. Brian says, if my stock predictions were right, I would be retired by now. Okay, fair enough. All right, let's see. Callum Road says, worst case, you have to reverse split. Yeah, that would be worst case. It'll be interesting to see. Like, I still think Bitcoin has one more big hurrah coming in 2026. And that will certainly help. I mean, you're not going to recover all of the price value in MSTE, because you have to realize every time it accordions, so going up and down, you are losing some of that upside potential every single time. So, you're not going to get back to where it started. Not anytime soon, that's for sure. But you will definitely get back into the green if you're keeping track of your dividends. I think that'll be fine, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Paul, will SpaceX and Tesla merge? Then later they add XAI. I don't think they will. So as everybody probably knows, SpaceX is going to IPO in 2026. So I think Elon likes having them as separate companies. I think he does. Now I don't see any potential merging of those, but that would be a really interesting thing. And it's actually interesting too. Another interesting thing is when you look at a merger too, like even if it is something like SpaceX and Tesla, you still get the regulatory boards that could say no to it. So it is interesting. So like recently, OpenAI, they bought Grok, not Grok, the AI that's on that's on X, but this one is GROQ. So GROQ, they're an AI startup. They make chips. So what the chips they make are, instead of graphic user processors like what NVIDIA makes, these ones are language user processors. So they basically are designed to process large language models, and they're more efficient. They use less energy than the ones that NVIDIA does. So NVIDIA, they opened up an agreement with them. Basically, instead of an actual real merger, they, they basically just sort of created I guess an exclusivity contract with them so that they're using each other. And it was, I think they dropped about 4 billion on it, if I remember correctly. But the reason they did that, opposed to a merger, is that a merger between these two companies would easily have not made it through the regulators. They would have shut it down. They would have been like, nope, too much exclusivity from the resulting company. So a lot of companies now are starting to do that, especially in tech. It's like, okay, we'll just create a contract. So we technically, we were buying you, but not on paper. That's basically what it boils down to. So very, very interesting. And this is huge for, this is actually huge for NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, I think I said OpenAI earlier. I meant NVIDIA. It was between NVIDIA and Grok. This is huge for them. This is absolutely huge because it really, really, really is taking them to the next level, and this could be a huge thing for them in the future. So I'm pretty excited about this one. And it was only I think it was only announced like a couple of days ago, like Christmas Eve. Progressive investing. Brookfield will do well. SpaceX will merge with Kevin Spacey. And they will launch their own streaming service. Oh boy. It's just if you look at the Y in Spacey and you add just a little extra little line, he becomes Kevin SpaceX. Maybe you're onto something down the rabbit hole. Will Canoe ever increase distributions? I want to say yes. But I can't. I don't think they will. But boy, it would be nice if they did. But I don't think they will. I think they're very happy where they are. And even when they make extra money, I think they just sort of sit on it and sort of say, okay, well, we got, well, number one, they have some rewards that they do towards the end of the year anyway with their notional distribution. But no, I don't think they will. Chad, saving my loot for SpaceX IPO. Just loading up on Google for now. Think they have a 13% stake in SpaceX. Okay. And, Chad. Poor Carney. Cameron says, I think EIT prefers year-end non-cash distribution instead. Yeah, exactly. This is what they did in 2024, 2025. They've been doing it even before then. They did it. Let's see. 20 years with your current clown show. Pyro Junk, I got out that quick. Let's see. Wrinkle Ranches should do good this year. Yes. Wrinkle. In other words, long-term care homes. So, we're talking extended care. We're talking SIA. We're talking Caesarea. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of good ones out there. Like the paid protesters. All right, selling my CNCLs. This is from Chuck. Looking to put the money in either CLSA or HDIV. Which would you prefer? I like both of these. So CLSA, first of all, guys. Let's pull them up. I do have it still up. All right, CLSA, bang. So this here is that Brompton Split Core Enhanced Equity Income ETF. So this one here is basically an ETF of split cores. So there's a lot of Quadravest split cores in here. They're new, but look at this. They've gone from, because they opened here pretty close to $10, $9.95, and they've gone from $9.95 to $14.17 in less than a year. That's not bad. That's fantastic. Now, you are getting a good distribution on it, 9.612%. It's a monthly dividend, 13 cents a share. I love this idea. Now, if we go into a bear market, if you get some of these split cores, if they're not meeting their NAV threshold, some of them may suspend payouts. That's fine. You've got other ones in here, as long as they don't all. If they all suspend payouts, well, then this ETF is in trouble. But that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen, that they all suspend them at the same time. So this looks pretty good. I mean, it looks pretty good. I like where it's going. I think it's a really good ETF. Now, of course, we have HDIV, and this is kind of another interesting thing. We'll pull up HDIV here. Now, HDIV has done fantastic in the last year. And this one, once again, am I in? Yeah, I am. All right. They've gone from 1648, 2111. So yeah, they have absolutely. Oh, I'm on the 10-year. That's why I was confused. I thought I clicked the 1 year, and I'm like, they're more than a year old. What's going on? So I was a little bit like, huh? All right, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Never mind. They've gone from 17, right here, 17, about 1767 to 2112. They're doing fantastic as well. They also have a pretty good dividend. It's actually pretty comparable. A 9.924% monthly as well, 18.3 cents. So I like them both, and I can see why there's like, I'm probably making roughly the same. You're not, I mean, it's not, yeah, you're making roughly the same. Obviously, the total return will be a little bit different, but the reality is, when you're looking at it, to me, what my defining thing would be diversification. I think you're going to get a stronger Canadian market diversification with HDIV than you're going to get with CLSA. So that's kind of where I would be looking at it. Like, okay, do I need that stronger Canadian diversification? Well, then HDIV wins. If I don't need it, then CLSA might be a good complement for the portfolio. So I think I would weigh it that way. I would weigh it in terms of diversification. Which one makes a better diversified fit in your portfolio? And also, and here's the thing, when we do head into a bear market, HDIV might have an edge. They might, but we'll have to see. We'll really have to see once we get there. I still like them both. I still like them both. And keep in mind, too, you don't have to choose one. You could always take your profits or your proceeds from CNCL and do 50% one, 50% the other. So there's a lot of different ways you could sort of weigh that, of course. All right, Truth is making fun. All right, Chad says ACT and P&G was penny stocks. They have shot to Mars and still climbing. Got lucky. All right. Paul likes HDIV. And let's see here. Worst case split core between the two. So do Elon Musk companies bill each other? Probably. They probably would. Well, they would have to. I think legally they have to, just for the all of the accounting behind it. So yeah, they would absolutely. And a lot of times, a lot of companies, even companies who have separate departments, a lot of times separate departments will bill each other as well, because it keeps the accounting together, and it keeps the budgets for each department together. Because if you don't bill, you could be pulling from a budget from another department. So yeah, absolutely. SpaceX, get your ass to Mars. Oh boy, yeah. I think getting to Mars is going to be a lot more difficult than people think. One of the things that people don't realize, so one of the big issues, of course, is radiation. So when you look at something like the International Space Station, people may not realize, but the International Space Station is actually in low Earth orbit. What that means is that it's close enough to the Earth that it is still actually protected by Earth's magnetic layer. So, do you get more radiation up there? Of course you do. You're closer, you are further up. So yeah, you're going to get more radiation, but a lot of it is protected. So it's a completely different thing. When you leave the Canadian, I guess it's a Canadian, sure. But when you leave the Earth's magnetic field, then the radiation levels get a little bit higher. You're getting cosmic rays from the sun. There's also different radiation energies that are coming from the actual, outside of the solar system. Things like just energy coming from different stars. You might get a lot of different high energy particles. So you have to, that's one of the things I don't think we're ready yet, because I don't think we have that protection in place. So when you go to Mars, if you send people to Mars, that's a long trip. You don't just, and here's the thing, you don't wait for Mars to get as close to, when Mars is closest to Earth, so we're on the same side of the sun. You don't just aim a rocket ship at Mars and fire and go in a straight line. That's not how it works, because the amount of fuel to do that is insane. So you actually use gravity assist to basically get to anywhere in the solar system. So what that means is you put yourself in a big orbit, and you want that orbit to intersect with Mars, and that's kind of the way you move. So you actually put yourself into an orbit. Anyway, it takes a long time to get there. I'm going way off on a tangent about Mars. I don't even know why. All right. Progressive investing, they must. We bill our sister companies. Yeah, exactly. Chad, Mars gonna need bricklayers if I go, if I wasn't so old. Maybe. Honestly, I mean, going back to Mars again. I think robotics. I think robots will be on Mars a lot sooner than people, and they'll be building a lot of the stuff that you need on Mars. It's going to Mars is not even remotely like going to the moon. So, give you another example. Oh boy, another tangent. So, when you go to the moon has no atmosphere. So, all you have to do is slow down on the way to the moon and just sort of, you want to slow down, and then you can just sort of coast down. You don't have to worry about anything. But because Mars is different, Mars has an atmosphere. It's nothing like Earth's atmosphere, but you're still going to have friction. So you're going to have friction. That means you're going to need a heat shield. And once you get through that heat shield, you can't just parachute to get rid of all of your speed. And the reason you can't parachute is because, well, the atmosphere is so thin, it's not going to really stop you. Like, you could take the biggest parachute possible on a spacecraft heading to Mars, and you would still, by the time you get to the ground, you'd still be going about the speed of a jet fighter straight into the ground. So you've got to do a whole bunch of other things. So one of the other things you would need to do is you would actually have to fire rockets on the way down as well. So with some of the landers, so Curiosity and things like that we put down, they actually had this thing where they had this little rocket ship layer thing that they were hooked onto that sort of fired and slowed them down. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's much more complicated than most people realize, and that's why it's going to be tough. I don't think we're going to get to Mars even by 2040. I would be surprised. I would be really surprised. Now, maybe we'll have robots on Mars by 2040. So, all right, yep, we do that too. Let's see, underground tech buildings could work on Mars with oxygen compartments. Underground would be a great area to put things on Mars because, once again, that will give you some protection, some more protection, because Mars, it's a very hostile place. You can die very fast without a spacesuit on Mars. I think if I were to drop you on Mars without a spacesuit, you would be lucky to survive for 2 minutes. You would be lucky. And it would not be a very pleasant 2 minutes. Oh boy. Oh, now I need coffee just thinking about it. Let's see. Think Greenland is doing that to heat homes. Brian says, I worked at Skyjack as my last job before I went on my own. I was in a plant 3, which was a sub-fabrication plant for the assembly line plant. We were our own cost center and not sure about actual bills. Okay. Let's see. Here, Greenland uses geothermal to heat homes from central system. Maybe. I did hear something, too. I heard Canada just recently opened up, was it a diplomatic center in Greenland, which is interesting. And I know that Trump is sort of focusing on Greenland again. Savard 2, let's see, you're thinking Iceland. AI data centers now to heat homes. Okay, Iceland. Iceland is actually going to eventually become a continent. We'll all be dust by then, but eventually. Chad, too much reading. Had to learn in 12 hours how to mortgage land. So Paul says, when BC and TELUS merged in 1999, cost centers come into existence, internal billings. Okay. There we go. Rory says, I hear there's land for sale on the Marshall Islands. I'm not even sure where the Marshall Islands are, but let's see. Elbows up and Oh boy, elbows up. And butt up for Trump. Oh, okay. Yeah, that I'm not reading that one, Chad. Still prefer to buy QuadraVest singles, but that's just me. All right, fair enough. Let's see. Don't splits want to keep the yield the same when it gets too high? They increase shares and dilute the share price. No. Um, it depends. It depends. I know with this one they do have plans to get the yield. Like right now, the yield has been coming down. So they do have plans to get the yield back at that original level. There's actually a video on their website that they sort of explain it. So I don't know. In this case here, if their price keeps going up and they want to, the only way they're going to get that yield up is they would have to increase the dividend. So that is a possibility that they could have to do that down the road because they do have a yield that they kind of want. And they were talking about adjusting it at certain points in the year. So I could see them doing that. I could see them doing that. Brian says, I have a lot of DF and a good amount of DFN. I still remember when Alberta still had AGT. All right, let's see. I saw AGT and I was thinking, America Got Talent? But, oh boy. Redwater, I remember when Alberta had Dome Petroleum. Dome was Canadian Oil. Let's see, BTC 1/4. Mostly gas cap wells from Calgary to the Arctic sold for 45 million. Fort Mac was hopping in 2012. There's so many capped gas wells in the province because they can't get them piped into a plant. All right. Still is Suncor 2. All right. Then the NDP one in the town was destroyed in 2013. All right. This is turning into an Alberta chat, guys. Let's see. Once you are outside the Earth's gravity, you are within the sun's gravity. Well, yeah. Although technically, well, technically technically the sun's gravity is everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but anyway. But yeah, you sort of move into that sun's gravity, and you are looking at putting yourself into an orbit around the sun that intersects with Mars. That's how they, like a lot of the satellites, like if you ever look at any of the satellites that go out and visit some of the external planets, the outer planets, or even the one currently heading towards Europa, that's what it's doing. It's putting itself into a big orbit. And that's just because using gravity assist means you don't have to take a crazy amount of fuel with you, which is a good thing. And that would be a situation, because you also got to realize too, the first ships going to Mars with people, if you plan to bring them back, you need to have a way to escape Mars's gravity as well. So we're talking, you need fuel to get off. That's why I think one of the things that the initial robots will probably do is look at seeing, can we manufacture rocket fuel from the materials that we have on Mars? Probably. I would assume so. I hope so. But that would be something as well. So there's a whole bunch of things that have to, unless, of course, and this is not something that I think they're discussing yet, but, it could be a situation like if you wanted to make it a one-way trip, then you don't have to worry about that component. So in a case like that, that's like if, for example, you were going to colonize it and actually create a colony. And it's like, yeah, you can go to the colony, but you're not coming back. That would be another option as well. I don't know how many people would be crazy about that. Even just going for a short visit to Mars, you're going to be off the Earth for a good 2 years. Let's see. Rory says, I was in Grand Prairie at the time. Let's see. Union does work up there every year. Fuel, what are you using? Dilithium crystals. NDP doesn't let capitalists take the oil for a pittance. All right, BCE versus TELUS versus RCI. Which do you think has more of an uptrend? Great question. Great question. The beautiful thing is, I think all three are going to have a better 2026 than they had with 2025. So I do see a little bit of recovery in the telecom sector. I don't think it's not gonna be a banner year. There's not gonna be any huge uptrends. Now, here's the thing. So right now, all three of them don't have a lot of area to expand into. they've pretty much maxed their normal customer base, other than they trade customers. Bell gets Telus customers, Telus gets Rogers, all of that. What is happening is that each of them is looking at ways to expand outside of the traditional just phone system. So Rogers, they've been doubling down on sports. They've made some purchases this year as well to gain more and more of that sports revenue. While both Bell and Telus, they've been doubling down on AI, and specifically data centers. So here's the question I would say. Which do you think is going to do better in 2026, sports or data centers? Personally, I think it's going to be data centers. So based on that, I would eliminate Rogers. I would. I would say, okay, well, maybe Rogers won't do as well as the others. Rogers also has the largest amount of debt because they picked up a lot of debt when they bought Shaw. So that would be for me, even though, and it's funny, I mean, even despite that, Rogers could still end up on top. That's a possibility. But if the data centers, if those AI data centers really do well, and if AI continues to explode in 2026, I think that will give the edge to both Bell and Telus. Now, between the two of them, it'd be a hard one to choose, but I would probably lean a little bit more Telus than Bell. But at the same time, it could be a call-up between the three. I think you're going to be safe with the three. If it were me, I would probably look at an ETF to get coverage of all three, just to be on the safe side. But it's a good question. It's still a really good question. Cowboy, the Northwest Refinery at Red River is no at capacity because of the carbon taxes. Will Telus go broke? No, I don't think they will. I think Telus will be fine. Rory, I drove by the Redwater site a while back, still under construction, thought it was Pemina. Let's see, Scott, the success rate of Mars missions is currently 40 to 50%. Sending humans doesn't really sound like a good idea. No, that's the thing. It's not a good idea. There's this thing with a Mars, anytime you go to Mars, there's this thing called, I think it's called the 7 minutes of terror. That's landing. That's when there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do from Earth because of the distance from Mars, for one. And you got to realize, depending on where Mars is in the orbit, it can be a lot. So if Mars is on the same side as the Earth, you probably hit them in about, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes. 2, maybe. If they're on the other side, it could be 20, 30 minutes to get a signal to them. So, it's difficult. Now, obviously, if you're going to send humans, you're going to want to have redundancies to try to improve that. But yeah, there's so many issues. Another issue too is the amount of time that you will be, in zero gravity. Well, you'll still have the sun's gravity, but the time you'll be weightless on that trip, that could impact your physiology a lot. So one of the things that happens is when you're in space, your heart doesn't need to work as hard. Your body doesn't need as much volume of blood. So you can get some physiological changes there. Bones don't need to be as strong. So they actually can start to atrophy a little bit up there. So when, by the time you got to Mars, even though the gravity is lower, it could still be an issue. So I think before we send humans to Mars, I think one of the other things is we have to figure out some form of artificial gravity. Like, are we going to send them in a ship that spins so that you can at least simulate gravity with centripetal force? It's going to be very interesting. And I think that's why I'm saying, I don't think we're going to see people going to Mars before 2040. And maybe even before 2050. Robots, sure, none of that applies to them. But yeah. Send Mr. Bean. He will somehow miraculously survive. Okay. Only problem is with Mr. Bean is we wouldn't get any radio back from him because he doesn't talk. So, let's see. Bikini Atoll Should be cheap land. Shouldn't need a microwave either. Let's see here. Brian says freezing rain is building up here. Going out to clear some of the ice, holding back some water. Not sure about the 25 to 40 millimeters of rain still to come. It's still 0 here. Have a good evening. All right. Well, good luck with that, Brian. And now I know what's coming my way. Oh boy, yeah, there's going to be a lot of rain, a lot of freezing rain. All right. Whenever I think of a lot of freezing rain, my mind always goes to that ice storm, the one, the famous one that hit Montreal. Oh boy. Well, it hit more than Montreal, but Montreal got impacted pretty big by it. Rory, plenty of charred metal to cook on too on Bikini Isle. Is that the one that they did all the testing of atomic bombs on? I think that is. I think that's the one you're talking about. Yeah, so just plenty of iodine. Oh boy. Don't think TELUS will go broke. One of these too big to fail stories. They kind of are. They have very deep pockets. Scott, OIT takes more energy to visit the inner planets from Earth than it does to visit the outer planets because you need to counter the Earth's orbital velocity. Okay, fair enough. Oh, you mean it? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. How is it that we got into? I don't even know how we got into orbital dynamics. It's like you never know what we're going to talk about on this show, right? Orbital dynamics. Let's break out some calculus, guys. Let's see here. Although that would be more vector analogy. Anyway, a cowboy who can afford tickets to sports and groceries. Well, pretty good question. Wouldn't touch Bell, Rogers, or TELUS with a 10-foot pole. Yeah, you don't have to. You absolutely don't have to. TELUS paying like a 9% dividend. I know, and I know there's a few people that think they should follow Bell and cut that dividend. I don't know if they will, though. That's the problem. I think it would be healthy for them, but I don't know if they will. Should we expect a TELUS rebound in stock price? I think we'll see a bit of a stock rebound, not a big one. I don't think they're going to get back to where they were, not even close. TELUS, why wouldn't you touch Rogers Bell? And that's the thing. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying that I would rather, if I want more exposure, or if I want some exposure to them, I'm going to look for an ETF. I really am. I don't want to choose between them. Not anymore. Bismarcky, I can think of one person we should send to Mars. I bet you can. All right. Was a Rogers and Bell customer and it left. That was good an impression, so I refused to invest in them. Yeah, Rogers has some of the worst customer service ever. And Bell is not that bad, not that good either. I can actually, there was one time in Bell, I called up, I wanted to change my number because I'd moved across provinces. And the person I got said, "Oh, that's not possible to do." And I just said, "Okay, I'm gonna hang up with you and call back to get somebody who knows how to do their job." I said it as politely as I could, but that's exactly what I did. I called back and I got somebody, and it's like, "Oh yeah, well, we'll get that taken care of for you immediately." I'm like, "Okay, great." I don't know. I like the other person. I was just like, "What? How? What do you mean I can't change my number? That's crazy." Anyway, IO. Let's see. Listening to a stock live talking about Mars. I love it. I know. Mars has dominated this way too much. Oh, I probably should go live. Probably should go big screen while we're talking about Mars. I don't have any graphics on Mars though, guys. Chad says, so if there's no air in space, how does a rocket work for the sun? Fire needs air. Well, rocket fuel, I think there's also a component of liquid oxygen in there as well. So, there's your air. If you think about it, you get that component. And basically it works from the, equal and opposite reaction. So in space, if you fire off something, you keep moving once you pick up some speed because you don't really have anything to slow you down. Scott says the sun is not made of fire. It is not. The sun is a giant nuclear reaction. In the simplest terms. A cowboy, the investing and space trip channel. I know. Come for the stocks. Stay for the orbit. We truly show you how to take it to the moon. There we go. Oh boy. Rory, finance investors don't know and should investigate such things about the sun. There we go. Sun life. Oh boy, that was actually kind of bad, Rory, but I appreciate bad. I do. Investing on Mars, what would it be like? MTE Mars Stock Exchange? Maybe, but it would be more than a T plus one. Bismarcky, now I want a Mars bar. A solid fuel contains the oxygen. Yeah, there we go. The movie Space Between Us, in which Gary Oldman totally runs away with the script. The design on the Mars colony is fairly matching the science, but the use of fuel on the various ships is bogus. Yeah, I mean most movies get the science wrong. Most. There are some, well, it's funny. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think, he gets a lot of content where he basically criticizes different movies for all of the science they get wrong. But I think one movie that was probably closer than most, Interstellar. Now, not all of it. Obviously, going into a black hole and ending up in the past at, well, wherever that place was that he ended up, that obviously is not probably going to happen. But the time dilation part, that very real, very real. So, I mean, technically, if you're approaching a black hole and you reach the event horizon, for an observer outside of the black hole, you would almost look like you're frozen in time, like you never leave the event horizon. Now, for you though, and this is the whole thing, time is very relative. You're going to cross that. You're going to cross the event horizon, and be merrily heading towards the center of the black hole. Now, depending on the size, this is the important thing. If it's a smaller black hole, you're probably gonna get spaghettified really fast, which is basically meaning that the gravity at your feet is a lot stronger than the gravity at the top of your head, so you get pulled out into spaghetti-like material. Obviously, you won't survive that. But if you had a supermassive black hole, you would be able to cross the event horizon without experiencing any of that. You will experience it eventually. But you could get a lot deeper into the black hole before you have to start worrying about some of the tidal forces that would cause spaghettification. So the only problem is, I guess, is that if you realized you crossed that event horizon, you're kind of screwed at that point. Yeah, it's not like you can't get out. So you know where your future's heading. You know what's happening eventually. Now, I couldn't tell you exactly how long it would take before spaghettification, but obviously that would depend on the mass of the hole. But anyway, all right. Oh boy. All right, let's see here. I see your Schwartz as big as mine. A funny thing, Chad, just so that you know. There's actually a radius around a black hole called Schwarzschild. The Schwarzschild radius is basically, so if you take the Earth, the Schwarzschild radius of the Earth would be about the size of a pea. So what that would mean is, if you were able to collapse the Earth down to the size of a pea, it would start to collapse. It would fall in on itself. So basically that Schwarzschild radius would end up becoming the event horizon. But anyway, let's... how the heck did this happen? I'm like, okay. Anyway, got to get my head out of the cosmos and back into the dollars. Rory, Mars attacks, aliens will bring the MTE opening bell. Maybe. Anchor Tours, if there was a stock exchange on Mars, it will always be in the red. I need a drink after that. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Oh boy. Oh, that was really good. I think you should get an award for that one, Anchor. I think you should get an award. That was a good one. The Martian was most realistic. Yeah, I think, well, to a certain extent, I know there is some problems in there. I don't know exactly. I think they might be actually with the biology, but Rory, let's see, a lot of short sellers on Mars. Santa Claus versus the Martians was a movie when I was a kid when they weren't little green. Let's see, at the end of the day, there we go. At the end of the day, just retire with a beer at the Venusville pub. Spaghettification. Touch here to save new word in the dictionary. There you go. There we go. Hello, boys and girls. Today's show is brought to you by the letter S for spaghettification. Scott says, falling into a black hole would be almost instantaneous to you. It would seem to take a lot longer to an outside observer. It's a common misconception. All right. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You know, time and space, all relative. Like, here's another little fact. If you took identical twins and you put one of them here on Earth, you put the other in a spaceship that could get close to the speed of light and sent that one off, and then when the twin going is almost as fast as the speed of light, they can't go the speed of light because some crazy stuff happens at that speed, to mass at least. But yeah, let's say you took them 85% the speed of light. They could go out for a couple of years and come back, and when they came back, their identical twin would be an old person. Well, they would just be maybe a couple of years older. That's kind of that whole relative time thing. And it's really, really funky, but it's the way the universe works. Let's see. Next up, Tony Stark is the leader, or Jack Nicholson. Tony Stark seems to want to be everybody, right? I think he's going to, well, at least the actor will be Doctor Doom in the new Avenger movies. No liberals on Mars. Oh my gosh. Give it time, Chad. No carbon tax. Be an oxygen tax there. Oh gosh. There you go. Yeah, exactly. There you go, oxygen tax. That's hilarious, guys. Oh, but what can I say? Whew. All right, guys. If you got your last minute questions, get them on in. Doesn't mean we're leaving right away, but also doesn't mean that we're not. It just means that as long as you guys got some stuff to talk about, we'll keep on going. I'm gonna have some coffee while you guys ponder those questions, and let's maybe bring it back to Earth. Maybe. I mean, unless if you guys really want to talk about space, we can always do that. I'm almost out of coffee, guys. Jonah, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, how are you? A little more than a quarter inch of ice on everything here. Yeah, I'm expecting that for sure. Let's see, Cowboy, great minds think alike. Lots of snow on the ground for us. All right, QQQ, what do you think about apartment REITs? Will downturn in economy, real estate cause them to fall further, or will they benefit from more people needing to rent? KMP or CARP REITs? REITs, yeah, REITs is very interesting. So, well, from the prediction videos earlier, I thought REITs were going to have a better year in 2025 than they did. So normally rate cuts tend to be pretty darn good for REITs. But this time around, and I think there's a few different issues. Obviously, the immigration thing certainly didn't help at all. So that sort of, kind of pushed REITs down a little bit. And also the fact that there's so many more options for income, because that was the whole idea. The way things used to work is when interest rates were coming down, people would leave bonds and they would head into things like REITs, utilities, all of that fun stuff. But now there's just so many options. There's so many different covered calls. There's so many ways to get some good income, better income than REITs. And that has hurt them. But the good news is I think that REITs overall should be seeing a little bit of a resurgence in 2026. Not a banner year. Are they going to go up? Yes. Are they going up a lot? Nope. So we will see a little bit of resurgence in REITs for sure. But like I often say, there are other options out there if you don't want to wait for it. There are definitely other options to make better money, but at the same time, if you're doing it for diversification, then expect things to go up a little bit, but not a lot. You're not going to see a huge return on them, unfortunately. Brian, glad I'm not going anywhere. I'm just north of Sega. Scott. And Scott says I'm huddled in too. Is there a new bi-monthly coming soon that you were aware of? The only new ETFs that I'm aware of right now are those two new Harvest ones, and so one of them is that the bank one, so their new bank one. I don't know if what they're planning to do on it for the dividend. If it's going to be, well, let's see if we can find out. Let's take a look here. Let's see. One of them is HPYE. Let's just take a look here. Nope, I'm not typing in hope. I'm typing in HPYE. Let's see here. Holy banana bread. I am not finding what I'm looking for. I thought they were Harvest. Maybe they're not Harvest, but we'll go to Harvest ETFs. Oh, guys, here, let me share the screen. Let's go to Harvest ETFs. All right. All right, about us now. We're not looking for that. Resources, retirement planning, covered calls, products. Actually, let's just take a look here. HYPE. No. Oops. HPYE. Sorry, it's not hype. It's HPYE. But nonetheless, I'm not finding. Here we are. Okay. Yeah, here it is. So here is the preliminary prospectus for these two, and let's see if they are. I don't know. I don't recall it mentioning it. So we got HPYB. Let's see. Steady cash. Oh, yeah. Look, it is twice a month. So these are looking to be semi-monthly. So yeah, both of these here. So HPYB and HPYE. Those are the only two I'm aware of, but yeah, they'll both be semi-monthly. So there we go. So yeah, I mean, and this one here, the first one, HPYB, it's kind of going to be a lot like 60. The other one, not so much. All right, Scott says, look at the trends for housing and rental prices since 2023. I wouldn't invest in REITs. Yeah, it depends. I mean, obviously it depends on the type of REITs as well. Like if you're looking at REITs that are more industrial based, I think they'll probably do a little bit better than some of the housing REITs. But yeah, I can understand that. Based on a 15-year supply of condos based on a listed and unsold assumed new developments. Yeah, like right now the condo market is not too great, especially in the GTA. Oh boy. All right. Elaine says, can you open an FHSA after you sold your first home? If so, how much time needs to pass between the sell and opening the account? I've seen information you can open one. Wonder if it's true. Yes. I mean, if you've sold your primary residence, I don't know the exact time though. Elaine, let me look this up. Let me find this out for you. Ask me next time. Because I want to just dig into this a little bit. I don't want to just Google it and give you a quick answer. I want to dig into this a little bit here and find out exactly what it is for you. I don't actually know, though, off the top of my head, and I'm not going to speculate on something like that. All right. Jonathan says, my investing strategy for 2026 will shift from diversification to spaghettification. Oh, boy. I love that. That's a great comment. Cowboy, the problem in rentals is the landowners have not rights or control over their properties. The government agencies take too long to deal with anything. Well, I will say, Cowboy, I don't know if this doesn't really help you, but I know there was a new bill I think that Doug Ford put through that gives a little bit more. It basically reduces a lot of the times in the steps towards eviction. Um, but that is something I think it got through. I'd have to double check on it. I know I read about it. Um, Scott says, sounds like you're throwing your money into a black hole. Yes, poor Jonathan. Brian, you can Elaine 4 calendar years home free before the current calendar year. I know someone that did it, and I looked it up. Okay, well there we go. There we go. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was in that vicinity, but yeah, there we go. Um, I should still look it up nonetheless. Anyway, bring some more information in. QQQQ. I will be trying the buy 500 shares and sale after a month as I'm doing it in my TFSA. Do you have some good stocks to trade on them in the Canada side? Um, so okay, you want to buy 500 shares and sale after a month. Oh, okay, okay. So you're looking to swing trade, John. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're looking to, buy something low, sell it a month later, a little bit of a profit. Um, and I think because of that month, it makes me seem to think that what you're trying to do is avoid the CRA at the same time. Um, Here's the thing. I guess I want to put this out there. Even though I say don't buy it back within a month, that's good. That keeps the CRA from looking. But if you were to do that, so let's say you actually created a pattern where you bought stock A, you sold it after, let's say you sold it when it went up, you bought it back, then you bought it back in a month, and then you sold it, and you created a pattern, that could be a flag for the CRA as well. So I would be a little careful with that. In your TFSA, like if you're going to do an occasional swing trade, fine. Just make sure you've got adequate time behind it, but I wouldn't make it a pattern. I wouldn't make it a pattern. So, if, for example, let's say you did my Air Canada swing in your TFSA. Once Air Canada, once you sold your Air Canada, I would leave that alone for more than a month. I would probably leave it alone for, a couple of months. I just wouldn't, I hate to, it's one of these things where because the CRA is so absolutely vague, and they don't really give you exact guidelines. Like if you go to the Canada website, all they'll tell you is that they're looking for business activity, they're looking for frequency, they're looking at time. They're not saying, okay, well, if you sell this amount in this amount of time, we're going to get you. They don't tell you. They don't. So you got to be really, really careful with it, for sure. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it once, move on to something else. Just don't, you know, if you really want to play around with swing trading, I would recommend doing it outside of your TFSA. So you can do it in your RRSP, no problem. They don't care. You can day trade in your RRSP, no problem. They don't care because everything is 100% taxable. But just be careful in your TFSA. Be very, very, very careful because the last thing you want is, and here's the thing, if the CRA were to look at it and say, oh, this is business activity. Yeah, you could, I suppose I should be big screen now. Maybe it is. And if they deem it to be, like, let's say they said, let's say you started doing this year, and then by the end of the year, the CRA said, oh, by the way, you've been doing business activity with this trade throughout the year. So we've deemed that you've been doing business activity for the full year. Well, it's not just that stock. Any other things that you sold within your TFSA, any capital gains, because they would be capital gains at that point because they could make everything taxable for that entire year. So you really don't want to mess around too much. So just be careful in that TFSA. Be very careful. And, best practice is if you really want to do a lot of swing trades, do it elsewhere. Don't do it in your TFSA. Rory, Toronto is building the tallest condo skyscraper. Gonna be empty? That would not surprise me. I hope to never need to sell CRT-UN. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. Thank you, Candace and Brian. Doug Ford is a problem, not a solution. Canada has more tax collectors than military. Well, hopefully that, well, that'll probably never change. But are there reasons for the CRA to remove the contribution amount in the RRSP? No, there's no, like in the RRSP, here's the thing. If you are any kind of trading you do in there, they don't care because they are getting 100% tax on all of your profits. So everything that you do in that RRSP is 100% taxable. So for that reason, no, they should not. Now, your contribution amount in the RRSP, so the yearly contribution you get, it's based on what you're making. It's not based on anything else. So no, they're not going to, they won't impact that because you might have been doing some day trading in your RRSP. So Scott says, yeah, CRA doesn't mess around. They might not even catch you that tax year, but maybe 2 years later, and they'll still come after you with interest. Yeah, absolutely. There's no, well, there is, I guess there is, I think there is a statute of limitations, and I think it is, oh, I just noticed that purple is a little bright. I'm just gonna, whoops, wrong thing. Oh, well, I don't know what I just did. I'm just gonna, let's just turn the brightness down on the words. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah, they can, I think, and guys, I'm not 100% on this, but I believe if it's beyond 7 years, you're safe. But yeah, they can call, I think they can call back anything within 7 years. And they can audit you. Now, I think 7, but it could be 10. So just take that with a grain of salt. Take that with a grain of salt for sure. Best show yet. Yeah. Well, the first hour of the show absolutely kicked. I loved that. That was the best fun I had in a while. And then we kind of went a little off the rails with Mars and black holes and, but that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind. If anything, I want to be known for being very tangent prone. Let's see, if you take money out of the RRSP to purchase a home and don't pay the minimums back, you will lose that contribution room. Yes, that's another situation altogether. So yeah, if you are taking money out of the RRSP for a home purchase, you have to follow those rules to the T. To the T, including, of course, any minimum payments that you have to pay back, because you do have to pay it back. The fun of it all. But what can I say? All right, guys, we've well past the 2-hour mark. This has been another fantastic show. We're going to be back tomorrow. We got a market close coming tomorrow. And guys, keep in mind, once we hit the new year, the market closes are going to start at 3:30 instead of 3:45. Tomorrow is still 3:45, but starting in January, they will be at 3:30. So that way there we can we have more time to talk about what's going on in the day's market before the bell. All of that fun stuff. All right. Oh, I love the show. This was a great one. And next video is the Members' Choice video. So it is all about copper. Trust me, there's going to be stuff in there for everyone. Everyone. Until then, though, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. If you're anywhere where I am or Brian, stay safe in the freezing rain. If you got to drive, don't even do it. Stay at home. You know what? Take a lesson from Kelly. Maybe have a scotch. I don't drink, but hey, why not? Have a scotch. I'm not going to have one. I'm just going to stay warm. All right, guys. Until next time, take care. And, well, bye-bye.